what would you go back to tell the Franceska of 12 years ago? So a year into starting out, doing your own thing.
She was doing it right. I mean, when I think about my entrepreneurial journey, I'm a very intuitive person, and my first business was cigars. So I had a cigar business in the Middle East. Honestly, I can't make this up. And, I had clients like Dubai Duty Free, Etihad Airways, Etisalat. Like we were huge in the Middle East, and it was something that no one had ever approached the Middle East market. And here I was like 24, 25 years old, American girl, hosting parties with Hennessy XO and Cavalli Club and introducing gold wrap cigars. I mean, it was ridiculous, but I loved that. I loved that if you can dream it, you can do it. And I loved living in Dubai because it was such a proof of that. It was the wild, wild west, and things really needed to happen yesterday and they needed to be there today. But everywhere you looked, it was a reminder that you don't need to follow the rules. You set your own rules. You create your own life. And so I did that for about a year, and I was still modeling and I was doing events, and I got really burnt out. And I remember at one point I just said, well, I'm not doing this anymore. I didn't enjoy the client I was working with. I didn't enjoy the product I was selling. I wasn't a consumer. I didn't enjoy working with the family side of it. And I just sat down one day and I sent an email and I said, we're restructuring internally. As of now, we won't be able to fulfill any future orders. I literally closed my business that was earning like 5 figures per month in a matter of an hour with a few emails that took me about a year to build. And then I canceled all my modeling contracts, just said I'm no longer interested. I don't do this anymore. I fulfilled all my jobs. And then I had about 6 months of shit, what do I do? And I got really sick. I was really sick from stress. And I thought, well, if my main motivator was money to prove to the world I was someone, because let's remember, I grew up without running water. I wanted to show the world that I was worthy. And I found that through how gritty I could be, how hardworking I could be. I just thought, well, what am I going to do next? And I felt like such a failure. I felt like so stupid. I always lived off like shiny objects. I was always the super pretty, bubbly girl. I got the, hot, sophisticated husband. I had the college degree. I went and worked a salaried job. I moved overseas. Like everything had to be bigger and shinier. And it just, in that moment, I knew that the cigars were done. And I thought, well, I want to work in a flower shop when I retire. And I just thought, well, that is the stupidest thing. Why would I work for 40 more years so I could finally actually go do what I want to do? Like, that makes no sense. And I wasn't even driven by, it wasn't a money decision. It was just it was so ingrained in me that you don't do what you want to do until you retire. And you do what people can basically put you in a box and approve of you. Like, oh yes, she's successful. She's a business person. She wears a suit. She works with these kind of people. She speaks these kind of languages. And I just thought, okay, well, if I'm going to be a florist, how do I do that? And I literally Googled, how do you become a florist? What's the difference between a florist and a floral designer? So if I could go back and tell that version of me, 1 year into entrepreneurship, her journey really hadn't started yet, to be frank, but she was on her way. But I would just tell her, you're doing it right. You're listening to yourself. You're listening to your gut. You don't actually care what people think. You're not in it for the money. And again, it's not because, we have plenty of it. It just wasn't even a thought. It was just what would I do next? I'm in this place where I've contracted this disease because of stress. And it was because I chased money, and that's clearly not working out. I'm not happy. I thought I would be happy. So what do I want to do? And that's when I thought, well, I guess it's the retirement thing. Maybe we do the retirement thing before we, go back and get a job. And that's really how it started. So trust yourself, listen to yourself. You already know.
Yeah. And there are some other big things that you mentioned here, which is, it's not even about chasing the money. It's about doing that thing that you really want to do now and bringing what is in the distant future into now and living your own life, not someone else's life, someone else's design for your life. Because I think that is the trap that a lot of us fall into. It's we don't even know that we're living by someone else's programming. We're in this matrix and and there's just this idea that this thing that I want to do, that I really want to do, is just my hobby, or it's just like a side thing. Why can't it be the thing? Or like I told my the client yesterday, I was like, ¿Por qué no los dos? Why can't it be both right now? Like for me, right? Why should I say that? Oh, let me climb the corporate ladder first, make some money, have some real estate investments, have a cushy 401k, and then start my coaching business. Why?
That's a trap.
And it's a trap. And the very dangerous part about that trap is that thing that we talked about the fact that no one makes it out of life alive. But there's another angle to that. You don't know when your time is up. And what a tragedy. I think for me, my biggest fear is getting to the end of it all. And, after I die, like seeing how everything could have been for me. It's like, oh my gosh, like look at all the stuff that I missed out on. Like, wow, So there is that. I love what you said about you thought the money was going to make you happy. But that's actually not what made you happy. It was doing the thing. And there is something, I know the types of people that are listening to this right now or watching, they are thinking, oh, of course, it was easy for you to do all these things. You already had a job and you were married. So, you had somebody else to, foot the bills, the rent and all of that. People, we have this habit. If you are listening to this and you're thinking this, I know you are thinking this actually, because we have this habit of attributing other people's success to other things so that we can say, oh, look at me. It's not my fault. Like I'm a victim. Like, of course she had a leg up, even if you literally just said you don't have a leg up. So can you help these people understand some of the sacrifices that you had to make? And when you say you burnt out, entrepreneurship is hard work. Like, let's go into more detail about that. So they know that even when you quote unquote have a quote unquote leg up or a spouse that maybe at least is double income, someone can support you. Can you please help them understand that it's still not a walk in the park?
Yeah, because, that was the beginning, right? So if we flash forward a little bit, I go and become a florist and I have this international floral design business. And in 2019, I become the sole breadwinner of my family with my business. My husband has a midlife crisis. It's a huge financial drop in our home, something that I really wasn't prepared for. But when I think about entrepreneurship and even just going through the pandemic, like weathering that storm, reinventing yourself, creating a completely new business, fronting all of that cash to be your investor to make that happen because you believe in it. And then just going year after year after year and not seeing the proof you want. And you've definitely pretty much fallen out of love of the like hypothetical dream you thought this was going to be, but you stay committed no matter what. And I always say, like, not everyone is meant to be an entrepreneur. I think entrepreneurialism has been thrown around as this like really fancy word that the only way you're actually successful or worthy as a person is if you go and create something yourself. And I don't think everyone is meant to do that. I mean, if everyone was meant to do that, we would have no companies because nobody would work in our companies. We need teams. We need people that are incredible number twos. We need visionaries. We need people that want to clock in and clock out. Like we need everybody. So I don't think that that's what makes an entrepreneur. I think what makes an entrepreneur is how resourceful you are, how relentless you are, how resilient you are, how you have the ability to not make your current circumstances mean anything about your success. So whether it's right now where you're thinking about a business idea, but you're like, oh, that's nice for her to say she came from like a double income household. Yeah, I did. But what about during the time when I had business expenses, I had a team, and my husband and I were making no money in our businesses, and it was scary as hell, and we were behind on payments and we couldn't pay our bills and we were getting in debt? You still need the qualities of continuing to show up. I can't tell you how many times I had less than $1 cash in my bank account, but showed up every day as if it was going to be a $10,000 day, because you better believe that there was a day that it was a $10,000 day. And it's like there is this level of just commitment that you have, and it has nothing to do. Sure, in the beginning, was it easier that we had a double income household? Yes. Is that what made me successful? No. It was the same opportunity of just because we have a double income doesn't mean that we can only rely on that. So now I really have to get it in gear. And guess what? When that income goes away, my business better be able to support us during a very long period of time. And then when it can't support us, I've got to go find additional resources, or I've got to get creative, or I've got to be locked in even more. And there is going to be times in your life, in your entrepreneurial journey, where you're going to want to quit. And I can't tell you how many seasons I've gone through where just every day I'm like, if I don't quit, I win. If I don't quit, I win. And there's a million reasons as to why I should quit. And everyone around you will tell you to quit, and it won't make sense to anybody. And this is what we glamorize. But when we're going through it, we demonize it. We make it mean something about us and our success, or we make it mean something about, oh, they're stupid, they can't get it together, or they made bad decisions. I mean, right now we've got a Netflix documentary coming out on Victoria Beckham. I mean, it took her 17 years to turn a profit in her clothing brand. And everyone can say, well, isn't that nice? I think she burned through $66 million to make it happen. Could she do that because she had Spice Girls and she's married to David Beckham? Yes. But are we still celebrating the fact that she stayed in the fucking game when she didn't quote unquote have to, because she had a dream and she refused to let anyone else talk her out of it? Did she make plenty of mistakes along the way? Absolutely. Was she resilient? Was she committed no matter what? Did she show up every single day like today was going to be the day? Yes. And those are the characteristics of an entrepreneur that you either have or you don't. Whether you're in your job right now and you commit to getting out of your job, or you don't, just like when you're in your business and you commit to how you're going to make payroll, even when you don't know how you're going to make payroll.